Click the link in the video's description to call into the show. Let's talk.
The B&B show is about to begin. Bear and the Blade want to hear from you. Call in now to save your spot in line.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, WSN presents
the T to the B and B. This is how we go. Welcome to the B and B show. B and 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 B show.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are your hosts, Professor Bear and Gavin the Blade Hayes.
Oh! Wrestling Society Nation, assemble! Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This is the B&B show, as always. Your two hosts, the Blade, and of course, my co-host, Professor Bear. Bear, what's going on tonight?
Oh my goodness. We're going to talk about something spectacular. Something that, and funny enough, still holds up till this day. And how much it changed wrestling. I'm so hyped about it.
Man, I am. Trust me, I am as hyped as you are. But first of all, we just want to say thank you, as always, for joining us tonight. We are going to be diving in, if you haven't guessed it, the Montreal Screwjob, probably the most infamous moment in professional wrestling. But there's so much to it. Just your opinions, your thoughts, call in. We do have the stream open. So go ahead and click that link in the description below and call in, comment, come talk to us. What do you think about it? What are your thoughts about it? And as always, today, since the final boss has returned, I had to throw on the Rock shirt. So, The Rock says, and The Rock says, call in. That's what The Rock wants you to do. The final boss wants you to call in. But like I said, I'm not even going to delay it. So without further ado, Bear, I'm just going to dive full force into this thing real quick.
Let's go.
I'm just going to, again, today we are diving into perhaps the most infamous moment in professional wrestling, which is the Montreal Screwjob. Now, whether you've heard about it a million times or if this is your first time learning about it, which is, wow, you're about to be in for a ride. But if this is your first time learning about it, we're going to cover everything. What happened, why it happened, the lasting impact it had on the business, all of it, okay? And it's a big deal. So real quick, Bear, before we kind of dive into it, for everybody watching, I'm just going to do a quick rundown of it, if that's cool. And yes. If this is your first time hearing about it, kind of, follow along. If this is, you've heard about it a million times, you already know where I'm going with this. Maybe you've learned something new. And Bear, if I miss anything, just kind of throw it in there, cut me off, throw it in there as we always do. But again, let's just set the scene real quick. Let's take it back to 1997, November 9th. It is Survivor Series in Montreal. And of course, the match is Bret the Hitman Hart versus Shawn Michaels, and it's for the WWF Championship. And at the time, Bret Hart was the WWF champion. And there was just one major problem, though. I think we can all guess what that problem was. Bret Hart was leaving the WWE, and he had just signed a massive contract with WCW. So Vince McMahon was a little worried. And
Well, let me stop you there because you're leaving out something very important to the story. Brett actually had signed a multi-year contract with the WWF, and it was for, I believe, 12 years.
20.
It was 20.
Yeah. So this, I was gonna hit that because if for a lot of people who didn't know this too, WWE offered Bret Hart 20 years. WCW offered Bret 3 years, and the 3-year contract was around $9 million, so it was about $3 million per year. And let me just put it to you this way: for one, McMahon wasn't going to be able to do that, and two, McMahon realized he wasn't going to do that. And he told Bret straight up, "I can't pay you. Like, I'm not going to be able to afford you." And Bret also realized, I mean, when Bret left in 97, he was 40. You're offering this man a 20-year contract. Bret knew. I mean, come on. He's like, really? Really? But here's the thing. There was contract disputes, but you see a few years earlier, Alundra Blaze, or Medusa, if you want to call her, left WWE for WCW and took the women's championship with her, famously throwing it in the trash on Nitro. And Vince was, he had PTSD from that. He didn't really want that to happen again. And so here's where things come into play. So here's the twist. Bret Hart didn't want to lose the WWF Championship to Shawn Michaels that night. Why? Because real life heat between them. Bret and Shawn had heat. And also another reason is, obvious, they're in Canada. Montreal, for those who don't know, that's Bret's home. I'll just say it right now. I don't blame him for not wanting to lose it in Canada. That's just my opinion. But their backstage rivalry, Shawn and Bret, was boiling for months. It had personal insults and real fights. And I believe Shawn even told Bret once, "I wouldn't put you over even if you were dying in the middle of the ring." And so when Vince wanted him to drop it to Shawn, Bret was like, "Forget that. I'm not losing it to him, much less in Canada." Plus, let's also remember, Bret had creative control over his contract. And so there was just many, many disputes. So
let me again jump in. And from what I've been told and saw and stuff, it wasn't that Bret didn't want to drop it necessarily to Shawn. He didn't want to do it in Montreal. He said he would do it the night after on Raw or the day before at a house show. So Bret was willing to do business. He just didn't want to do it at the pay-per-view at home.
Yeah, and with that leading up, they agreed to a compromise. And this is the part where it gets to the plan and the betrayal. The match would end in a disqualification, which would allow Bret to keep the title and drop it to somebody else a different day before leaving for WCW. Well, that's what Bret thought. And a few others, and this is where Earl Hebner is going to get thrown into this. So Shawn, Hebner, and Vince had a different plan. They were going to take the belt off him no matter what. And so the screw job itself, during the match, Shawn Michaels had Bret, gosh, this is another one, in his own finishing move, the sharpshooter. And, it was just a part of the match. And then all of a sudden, you hear the bell. And, you hear the bell. And it's now all of a sudden that infamous shot right there in the middle of our screen. And let me just spoiler alert, Brett didn't tap. And Brett had to help Sean apply the move. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's utter spit in the face. What's up, Rusty? What's going on?
Russ.
It's utter spit in the face. And so basically, Brett knew, Brett was like, hold on a second. And long story short, the arena erupted in chaos. Brett spat in McMahon's face. And, he even famously drew WCW to the camera. And a lot of, it went to the backstage. Brett threw a punch. McMahon got a black eye, a concussion. He even sprained his ankle. And yeah, call into the show. We are talking about the Montreal Screwjob. Give us your opinions. Give us all your opinions about this. There are many, many, many different opinions. But basically, the next night on Raw, Vince McMahon went on TV and uttered the famous words, "Brett screwed Brett." And that's right there is what made the Mr. McMahon character. And so that is the Montreal Screwjob. Bear, if I missed anything, you feel free to take over. But that for everybody listening and who didn't know, this, I mean, it's such an talked about topic. It is. I will admit, Derek, it is. I will admit, but we haven't covered it. I wanted to cover it.
And here's the thing. And here's the thing about it too. It is over talk, but it had so much of a repercussion to the business that you have to really lean into it and discuss the different angles from it. I mean, again, whether you like Brett, you like Sean, you like Vince, whatever, but this made wrestling go into a whole different era. And if it wasn't for this, we probably wouldn't have had the Attitude Era.
Correct. And it blurred what it did. It blurred the lines between reality and storyline. I mean, when everybody says, today, wow, was CM Punk's, was that a shoot or work? Was Corey Graves, was that a shoot or work? That line right there was made because of this. People still talk about today, was the Montreal Screwjob a shoot or work? And I have my opinion set on it no matter what. That's set. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But still, the point is, people still talk to this day. Was the Screwjob a shoot or work? And like you said, Bear, not only did it create the Attitude Era, it created Mr. McMahon. It was such a big deal. And like I said, I understand over talked about topic. Cool. B&B show hasn't covered it. We're covering it now. And like I said, Elimination Chambers in Montreal too. So what a great time to do it. Or Toronto. And so what a great time. It's all Canada. But yeah, that's the screw job for people. And so Bear, I'll let you start this one. Let's just dive right into it, man. We've covered the screw job. We've covered it. There's many questions. There's many answers. For one, let's just get the main one out of the way. Shoot or work?
It definitely was a shoot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No one will convince me that they worked this. Is because there's too many different angles. There's too many different talks and discussions between wrestlers. It divided the locker room. It made people who would never really have a discussion out loud about it talk about it. You learn who were really friends and who wasn't. I think one of the biggest things from it too is, let's say this, if you were in Vince's place, what would you have done? And this is just a general question for everybody, because no matter what you think of Vince McMahon and the wrestlers, first and foremost, this is a business. And you have to protect your company.
Okay, I'm going to answer that question, which then leads me to my next question. If I was Vince, I would have let him drop it to somebody else on Raw the next night. I wouldn't. I would have given him at least the respect of it's your hometown. I understand. I would have let him drop it on the next night to somebody else. I will get to my next question in just a second. We do have a caller on the line, though. Bring him on. What's up,
Rusty?
Hey, what's up, fellas? I mean, like I said, a lot of stuff's been talked about, and this has been, like that other guy said, talked and talked and talked. I think the only reason why Vince did what he did because Brett never gave him a true answer. Hey, you gonna go and take the loss and drop the belt, or what? And so I think he was going to, just because he helped Sean, because Sean was going to put sharpshooter on the wrong way, and so he switched his legs around so that he can get him in the sharpshooter. I think he was going to tap out regardless and go ahead and do it and put Sean over and take the win. But then Vince did what he did
Well,
to
the
call
thing
it
is,
early because Vince didn't know what he was going to do.
they agreed that the match was going to end in disqualification. That's what Brett thought was going to happen. Brett said, "Hey, look, I'll lose the belt another day, another night." They didn't determine which night. They didn't say if it was Raw the next day. They just said, "I'll lose it again and again, this time. And they said, "Okay, fine, we'll have the match end in a disqualification." But then Vince went and told Hebner and Sean, "Hey, that ain't happening. Don't tell Brett, but when, just do the match and I will tell you when to ring that damn bell." And so when that sharpshooter was put on, Vince said, "This is the perfect time. Hebner, ring the damn bell." And that's when you see Vince, blah, 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 blah. And so it's, there's so much to it. Here's the thing. And I'll go ahead and answer what Bear said. And I'll ask the next question since, Rusty, you're on here. But again, if I was McMahon, I would have let him lose it on another night. Let the match end in disqualification and let Brett lose it on another night, possibly even to somebody else. But then that leads me to my next question. Who screwed who? Did Brett screw? Did Vince screw Brett? Yes. I'm going to answer my own question, and I will let Rusty. I'll let you answer that one. Who was screwed? Truly.
Well, with the way you're talking, I think Vince screwed Vince. Really, he did. He screwed himself out of it. He could have gotten another pay-per-view match or another great money-making thing out of this deal.
Well, here's something that we didn't talk about. Brett's contract ended that Monday.
Correct.
That was his last. So you don't know what he's going to do. You've already had another performer do something with your title that made it look completely crap. And you have to protect your company. And not necessarily do I agree with what he did, but I understand why he did it. Because, look at it from this point of view. If Brett would have went on Raw the next night and just would have dropped the title, gave the title to somebody, just lost or whatever, it would have took your number one star and took some shine off of him, which was Sean. And this is a business. And if you make your top star look like he couldn't take out Brett, it would have had repercussions to your business. You are already losing in the Monday Night Wars. You have to protect it. And again, I'm not saying that it was right. I'm not saying that Vince couldn't have and shouldn't have worked with Brett a lot more on this. But I understand protecting your assets. because again, you're going up against a machine that's been constantly beating you. Your argumentative number one star is leaving and going to the competition. What can you do besides protect your own assets?
I guess.
So,
Go ahead, Rusty. Go ahead.
so the question I have, so with all this happening, and then when the time where CM Punk was supposed to leave with the belt, and Vince didn't pull this, did he think about that and not do this same thing with Punk?
No, he didn't do the same thing with Punk because everybody knew Punk was going to leave with the title. Vince, this was an angle. The Punk thing was an angle.
Yeah.
Let's not get it confused. A lot of people no. I'm just going to say a lot of people think Punk just went out and did that.
Yeah. Where's he going to go? Look at the competition during that time. I mean, that's true.
One. Two, Vince is not a stupid individual. Well, let me put it like this. He wasn't stupid back then. Let me say that.
Yeah.
And
well, he was, but we didn't know about it.
Right. So the biggest thing is this was something new, and let me go back to a lot of territorial days. That's why a lot of bookers always, number one, kept the title on either themselves or somebody they knew was loyal to them, so they wouldn't have this issue with someone leaving with their title. And this goes back to traditional. You can look up a lot of different defunct companies and look at who was the booker or the owner, and they did the same thing to protect their business. Now, with all that being said and everything going on, I think that clearly Brett was trying to be honorable.
Hold on, pause just 1 second.
Yeah, I see that.
Hold on, pause just 1 second. I just want to say something real quick. Big John, get off my stream. We just go ahead, get off my stream.
Sound like an internet bully to me, but
I was gonna say go over there and make your own podcast. If you need any tips, just give me a call. Maybe I'll think about answering. I know.
Does he have enough brain cells to have a podcast?
No, him and the Three Stooges don't understand. Yeah, go ahead, call in, Big G.
Yeah,
like I said,
I'll move out the way. Don't worry, Big John. I'll move out the way.
Wait a minute. He got to know how to work his computer to get home. That may take a while. So you got time, Rusty. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna put that back real quick. Like I said, so Blade don't fear shit. WSN don't fear shit, and I think we proved that to you. And so, all I'm gonna say, and then we'll continue this. 1 month from today. 1 month from today. 1 month from today. Grow a seat and make me late. I'm your little friend. No, man. Like I said, nobody's hiding. Y'all decided to, we
keyboard muscles there, huh? Keyboard muscles.
Wait a minute. I hadn't been there. I just know what I saw. But isn't that kind of ironic that he's talking about hiding behind your little friend when his boss was hiding behind him?
Yeah, it's just funny.
I'm just saying, I'm not the smartest person in the world.
Hey, like I said, the Rock and the Three Stooges, they're all hypocrites. That's all they are, and everybody knows it. The APW locker room knows it. The fans know it. I mean, everybody there knows it. So, like I said, we came in there to create order, and all they do is create chaos. Like I said, chaos. We went in there to create order, and Rock slapped me across the face, created chaos. So, CEO and I decided to go out there last Saturday They want to create chaos. I'll give them chaos, and I slapped the shit out of his boss. And guess what Big John G and Herd did? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing about it. You watch the video, they didn't do a damn thing because they can't do a damn thing. So,
well, you know
anyway,
what? I was going to say, now, since we're done with the bathroom break, let's get back to the real topic.
All right, so before I jump off, but yeah, I think Vince screwed Vince because I really think Bret Hart was going to do the right thing either that night or that Monday night on that Monday Night Raw episode.
Well, and I understand your point, but look at it like this, Rusty. If Vince screwed himself, look at what happened after that and how they destroyed WCW and everything manifested the way it did. So did Vince really screw himself, or did Vince get lucky?
Well, I think he got lucky because WCW killed himself with Mankind's gonna win their title, and that's what killed WCW right there.
I think that didn't kill it. I think having too many people with contracts that they could make their own, they can have their creative control kill WCW. Too many egos, but that's a whole different.
And then Bret realized when he went to WCW, he wasn't the guy who he used to be.
Hell no. And that's the thing is he realized that real fast. And then, like I said, that hit a milestone whenever him and Goldberg started fighting and he got his concussion and it was WCW was just bad for Bret. Bret, when he left, I will admit it just went straight downhill. And yeah, WCW screwed Bret. But that my thing is with this though is a big question. Did Bret handle this the right way?
No.
I think he did. I mean, truthfully, what else could Bret do? He was gone. Vince gave his word and he lied. If I was in Bret's shoes, I would have knocked his head off too.
Yeah.
But that's my 2 cents worth. I'm gonna let y'all finish up and I'll comment other things.
All righty, Russ. Thank you, sir.
All right, no problem. Y'all have fun.
All right.
Yes, please continue to call in. We are talking the Montreal Screwjob. Tell us your opinions. Was it a work? Was it a shoot? Was it handled the right way? Who screwed who? Does Blade fear no man? Correct. So yeah, Bret takes things too personally. He would have drowned in the Attitude Era. I agree with that. I actually do agree with that. But here's the thing, though, is Bret. I don't know. It's like I think I would have at least taken everything that Bret did in the ring afterwards. I don't think I would have done. I would have taken it to the back and been like, yo, because you're on a pay-per-view, you still have what I'm getting at. You're about to leave to go to another company. If I was WCW and I saw Bret do that, I'd be like, fuck that. I don't know if I want him. You know what I'm saying? Look what he's doing, on live TV. And I get it. I understand. Business is business. But I personally would have waited to the back, gone to the back, and I would have been like, yo, let's have a fucking conversation, But I don't think what he did in the ring was correct, spitting on him in WCW and throwing a fucking fit in the middle of the ring. I don't think that was right. I think that was handled very poorly. But now in the back, he handled that correctly. Socking him in the face. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would have been like, yo, because what happened was Undertaker told I see you, Steven. Sean hey, look, I'm not saying Sean is in the wrong for this. Let me get that out of the way. I'm not saying that. Okay, Sean. I'm not saying Sean was in the wrong on this one because I think Sean had his issues back in the day. I get that. Okay. But at the end of the day, this was a Vince and Brett situation, and Sean was the receiving guy of, hey, here, take this belt. But Sean was a coward that night, however. But yes, I agree, he is the GOAT. I don't think Sean is the GOAT. Let me go back on that. But what do you mean by coward? What do you mean by that?
And that's why I was gonna jump in and say, look, what man is gonna tell their boss they're not gonna do something? I mean, but we'll discuss it a little later. Let's talk to this caller on the line.
Yes, bring him on, please.
Hey,
what up, Mike?
What's going on? I called in for two reasons. The first reason is I got to give the props to you, Blade. That was the loudest slap heard around the world I ever heard you deliver. So,
look at Mike B coming on here and being the GOAT.
Let's address that first. Second, love the conversation y'all gentlemen are having. So I just want to chime in. Little 2 cents here. First is, I truly don't believe that the WWF would have won the Monday Night Wars if this moment didn't happen. I think that you see that this brought pro wrestling into the trajectory of what it became after. You get the edge, you get the attitude. I mean, everything just follows after this. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but
no, I definitely agree with that.
You know, I've actually never thought, and like I said, I'm glad you said that because we were talking earlier, you know, because somebody, you know, no, this is a very over talked about topic, and I'm not denying that, but the thing is, it's a topic that had changed the game, and I haven't even thought about that it really did change the wars. I mean, it's crazy, and you know, that's a good point. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, and I think that it also, well, obviously it launched the Mr. McMahon character. You know, we wouldn't have Austin and Mr. McMahon without this moment. And quite frankly, I also think that, you know, we go back to just before I called in, I heard you were saying like, hey, would WCW want someone like Brett, you know, doing the stuff they did in the ring after? I think Eric Bischoff lived for that shit.
Oh yeah,
it was like
good point. Good point.
He's like, hey, like, you know, sure, you know, diss them on their own show.
I can't argue with that.
Look, I'm just gonna say Bischoff was somewhere, and his wife wasn't near him, and some things happened. I'm saying Bischoff was just pretty happy about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I think it's so. Yeah, it's definitely overtalked. It's a talking point that's overdone, but I don't think it's one that can be dealt on enough of how many intricate moments came out of that too. Because I mean, even like you think of Goldberg's career, you know, with Brett, you know, the stuff that happened there. It's kind of crazy to think about.
And then something that we hadn't got to yet, and that apparently the screw job came from Hunter. Hunter was the one who suggested it.
If I may ask,
Vince.
If I may ask, where did you hear that from?
Oh, well, 2 people heard it from Brett. Now, of course, Brett didn't know, but from stories he gathered, Sean said that. And also, I meant Vince, but also Sean said that Hunter was in the room because they were so tight and they had Vince's ear. And Hunter was like, hey, you have to protect your company. If he's not wanting to do business, you make sure he does business. So
I didn't know that one.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And again, the whole situation was bad. And I can see everyone's point of view from what they did. Because again, you're already losing. Then you have to give up one of your number 1 stars in your company to them because you can't afford them. And just think if Vince would have if everything would have went to the way Brett wanted. Vince, he would have went to WCW. It would have not changed the business like it did.
Right.
And that's why I always look at it as like, man, the controversy saved WWF.
Right. I don't think that there was one negative thing that happened for the WWF because of that. I really don't. I think all of the negativity went to WCW on that because you didn't bring Brett in till what? I think it was like a month or two later.
Yeah.
You didn't bring like they should have brought him in the next night.
Yes.
If they wanted to ride that heat. You know, it's like, hey, like, and then like, I mean, could you imagine if they would have brought him in the next night? I don't know what contract situation was like, and had him do a shoot promo.
Right.
On that whole thing.
And they were known for doing that. And easily they could have got Brett in there. Well, it couldn't have been that next night because he was still contracted. But the following night, the biggest fault of WCW was them not capitalizing on that and not having a good storyline. He actually did not have a 90-day complete clause. They didn't have them back then. Like I said, Brett's contract ended on that Monday. And on top of that, WCW did not have any real good booking for Brett because you had no follow-up. Imagine if they would have had him just immediately go after Hogan, even though Sting won the title, but just go after Hogan or some credible wrestler. It would have did so much better than the crap they had for him. That's what WCW's downfall was. The whole inmates ran the asylum. And that's what Brett did not like about WCW and wished he would have just stayed with WWF because at least there was a boss.
Now,
and WCW, anybody ran it. Just depend on who was there and what day it was.
Now, do you think this whole situation impacted Brett's legacy?
I do.
I don't. And the only reason why I don't, because he did so much, even with this bleep in his career, it doesn't take away from what he did and how much he was beloved around the world. You can't take away the match between him and Shawn at WrestleMania. You can't take away the match between him and the Bulldog. You can't take away the match between him and Flair. Brett is going to be that man, no matter, because all wrestlers have a dip. You name me one wrestler who didn't have a dip in their career.
But Bear, if you don't mind, I'm going to step in quick just because.
Yeah.
Just to make a comparison, you as a wrestling fan, you were able to watch in real time those matches, right? Like you were able to see that in real time. Like someone for me that didn't I was born in the 90s, didn't start watching until 2002. The first thing I ever hear of Bret Hart is the Montreal Screwjob. So I feel like it's a generational thing too, as well as like people in my generation. It's like that weren't able to watch his matches in real time. The only I know that Bret Hart is one of, if not the greatest wrestler in the world, because I went back on the network. I was able to watch those matches. I was able to see his craft. But to me, the first thing that I'm hearing about is the Montreal Screwjob, and then I'm like, oh, he went to WCW, and I look at the WCW stuff, and let's be honest, there's not one thing in that WCW run that sticks out to me at all that was good. So I feel like this moment for him, generationally, depending on when you were watching, ruined his legacy.
That's so fair, and a point that I wouldn't have thought about. And with everything in life, it's always the winners who control the history. So like you said, when WWEF were the only ones there, they got to control the narrative of Bret's story until they made up. So you're 100% right on that, and I understand that.
Well, then what about then also how much did it affect Canada and the fans? Like, and I'm serious. Like, think about it. If we, lived in Canada and, let's say we lived in Montreal and that guy was our hometown hero and that company just did, him like that. I mean, how much of an effect truly do you think you would really have? I mean, yeah, I understand you'd probably still tune in, but really think about it. Like, really think about it. Really, really think about it. So,
Well, I think what it did, you were able to make places, everything wasn't cut and dry, depending on where you were at. And the perfect example to that is CM Punk. When he left the WWF, anytime they go to Chicago, Chicago would let them know how they felt about what they did to their hometown boy. And even in Canada, the same way. And it gave a whole different way of being able to create in a market. It was so much that, okay, we're going to Canada. So, hey, let's do this. Because we're in Canada, we know the fans are going to act a certain way. Just like when they brought Sean out there, and then he had the audacity to sing the Canadian anthem. That just made Sean's, he's already a legend. It just took him up another notch. And look at when Sean and Hogan wrestled. And Sean acted the way he did. And the next night, people cheered him. And he was supposed to be the heel, but they cheered him. So it helped. I think it helped to make people understand that fans are not just dumb. We have brains, we see, and that helped create a lot of wrestling now that they are more fan wise driven, just like they were going to bury Bryan Danielson, and the fans made the WWE put him over. So I think that was good in that sense.
I also think when you're deprived so long, because correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they toured much after the Montreal Screwjob in the Canadian territory. But I think one of the biggest examples of that was WrestleMania 18. Because you saw how passionate the fans were. So I think it affected them emotionally. Honestly, come on, why are we here? The three of us here talking about wrestling right now. We connect with wrestling on an emotional level too as fans, right? And exactly. I think that takes away something from your fan base when you do that, but. Yeah, well, that's my thoughts, guys. Good hanging with you. I'm gonna hop off.
Appreciate you.
Let y'all finish.
Thank you, Mike.
Dessert.
Have a good one. Okay, so here's the thing. Could WWE have handled Brett's exit better? Yes, I personally think so. But I guess another question I have though too. What could have happened if Brett stayed in WWE? Do you think, if Brett hadn't left for WCW, how would the landscape have looked, in the late 90s and early 2000s for him? Or would Stone Cold rise, would his rise be delayed because of Brett? Or, what do you think that would have done if Brett stayed in WWE?
Well, the rise of Stone Cold, I don't think, because Brett was very okay with Austin. That's why he wanted to work with him. He saw so much in him. It wouldn't have hit the same. It definitely would have been different. I'm not saying they would not had the Attitude Era and couldn't have came across that way.
Real quick, Bear. I just want to say some boys in the back of WSN seem to not like Bret Hart. All I see is just hate messages of Bret Hart popping up, dude. Damn. Like, hey, I've always been a fan of Bret. I understand his personality isn't always there, but I didn't know if you were noticing that. Damn, man, they're just shooting Hart down.
Well,
there you go. It's Goldberg. It's Goldberg back there. I thought that was Goldberg commenting. Damn, dude.
Well, and the thing is, too, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but there's only really two people that has personality from Canada. And that's, I mean, look, Bret was an old school wrestler. And he gets victimized by having the old school standard. That's why a lot of people didn't care for Bret, because Bret took it like the old school wrestlers did. This is a business. You don't let everything out. You continue doing business the right way. You put over people the right way. You leave the business better than you found it. Bret was trying to do that and felt like he got disrespected.
Now, let me ask you this. If it did help Shawn Michaels, how much did this help Shawn Michaels? If it did help Shawn.
Oh, hell yeah, it helped Shawn. Look for the years. Now, I mean, not that Shawn was not going to wasn't going to reach the heights he reached, but it immediately made him what? The super heel.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, is if it really finally pushed him over the edge and with the fans. And
he was the no disrespect to the person I'm about to say, but hell, he was the old school MJF. If he did not have this moment, Shawn wouldn't have been the same, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say Breck's in-ring stuff was great, but he has been around as long as Mania has, and we only remember very few things in all those years. Hey, like I said, I don't know. I've always liked Bret. I understand he's got some personality issues, like where he's just not very charismatic and stuff, character issues, I guess. But another question I had, because I was kind of looking into this, because both of these people claimed that they were involved in pitching the idea, and they were the ones who kind of really put it on the table. But Jim Cornette and both Jim Cornette and Vince Russo have both said that they were involved in pitching the idea of the screw job. So I guess, you call bullshit on that? Because truthfully, I call bullshit on at least one of those.
I do. I honestly, I love you too, Unc. I honestly think that I would believe it coming more from Jim Cornette than I would of Vince Russo. Let's just be real.
That is real quick, Bear. That is the perfect way to describe that.
Yes, it was.
It's an accidental work of art. That I'm so glad.
James,
Jason,
you hit it right on the freaking head.
Jason, that I was looking for something to call this, and that is the perfect way to put it. It is an accidental work of art, because that's genuinely what it is. It's literally, and that's another question is, I know I just keep jumping question to question, but there's so much to it. Was this and I'm not now listen before, was this the birth of smart fans? And I'm quoting smart. And when I say that, I mean a lot of fans before this, kayfabe, and it kind of opened their eyes. Like, okay, CM Punk in All Out, after the show in 22. We like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, we look at this because of the screw job. We look at that stuff because it's true. So was the screw job kind of the birth of smart fans? You know, was it the birth of, you know, okay, hold on a second. Like, let's see. Whoa, like, is what's going on?
Well, no, I don't think it's not the birth of smart fans. What it is the birth of letting fans know things. It's out in the mainstream because there's always been smart fans that knew the business and stuff. So that's why I won't say the birth, but it was the birth of the end of kayfabe, really.
Yeah, and again, I'm not making fun of any fans. I just didn't have a better way to put smart.
No,
fans, you know,
and I definitely understand that because just like Mike said, I've been watching wrestling since I was a kid, and I grew up in the 80s, the 70s and 80s. So I see wrestling a lot different than more of the fans they do. So depending on how you were raised and what your knowledge of in wrestling, it can make you look a lot of different ways. Now, for me, I'm definitely one of those old wrestling fans, but I'm smart enough and easy enough to see where some things you have to go and do things and keep the modern fans invested. So, okay, like personally, I don't like people knowing behind the scenes stuff. I think it takes away from the magic. That's just like a magician. If you knew all the tricks and knew how he did it, it's not going to be the same to you.
Okay, now I'll staying on this topic again. You grew up during this time. You watched this time. You are one of those fans. We'll put this comment back up real quick, producer. So I want this to be targeted at you because again, you grew up. Which one was bigger in that, the screw job or the curtain call of kayfabe and the fans, the smart fans and all that?
Honestly, I think the Montreal Screwjob was bigger because, and this is why I say I think it's bigger, because the Montreal Screwjob, it was right in front of us. This was live pay-per-view.
Yeah,
you could rent it. If you didn't see it live, you could rent it, and you could see what happened right in front of you. The curtain call was someone who snuck a video camera in and recorded it. So it definitely, the Montreal Screwjob had ripples that if it wasn't for that, the curtain call wouldn't have been as impactful. And that's just my opinion.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, then see another thing, a lot of people, I live in the South. And in the South, we don't play about wrestling. We love wrestling and we take it seriously. That's why a lot of people were more NWA/WCW fans than WWF, because they made it be more of a contest of skill, where WWF was more cartoonish. But again, this is just my opinion and the way they put wrestling on from the Southern view.
Okay, so you do think though that the biggest winner of this whole thing was WWF?
Oh, but
not Bret Hart. Like, it wasn't Bret Hart because he maintained his principles or nothing. It was WWF.
Yeah, no disrespect to Bret. Everybody has principles. Now, whether you choose to stay by your principles or not, that's you. The curtain call was bigger because of the vets in the business.
That's true. That's true, because the veterans in the business, when they saw that that picture get out of the four of them hugging. I mean, they went crazy. I mean,
well, Jason, I'm going to disagree with you from this point of view, because look at how many people left the WWF. It divided the locker room, and it didn't just talk. This was, again, yeah, the vets were mad with the heat, but no bigger heat came across than the WWF and Vince McMahon, because now you sitting here saying, man, if he did this to his top star, what will he do to me? What will he do? Because and a lot of people don't realize Vince didn't have to do what he did afterwards. That's not talked about a lot. He let people out of their contracts if they wanted to leave. If they had such a problem, a lot of people was left, and a lot of people wanted to leave and didn't.
yeah, there was people, and I'm glad you said that, because the Screwjob actually had people boycotting Raw the next night, like Jim Neidhart, Davey Boy Smith. They received
They left
of it.
and went to WCW.
Yeah,
Owen couldn't.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Owen couldn't because of the contract, and on top of that, the contract, and Brett liked it.
That right. They left WWF because WCW was throwing stupid money for an easier schedule.
That's not the only reason. That's a part of it, but a lot of them would have stayed if they would have treated Brett, as I say, they treated Brett what everybody thinks the right way. And again, like I said, these are opinions, and everybody has them.
I do think, though, and I now for a second, I'm going to put my feet into a wrestler's shoes during this time. Okay, let's say it's during the Monday Night Wars time. Let's say the screw job, the screw job just happened. WCW, whatever. Let's say all of that. So I see all these guys leaving for WCW. I go up to McMahon. I say, hey, WCW offered me, let's just say it was Bret Hart's contract. WCW is offering me 3 years. What was it? Three years, $9 million. So around $3 million a year. You're offering me 20 years, and you now you're saying you might not be able to pay me. But I look at WCW and I see all my buddies who have already left, who say, hey, come over here. Hey, come over here, do this, do that. Yeah, and I look at the ratings too. Damn, they're actually kind of beating WWF. I would have left too. I mean, it wouldn't even be a question in my eyes. And like I said, that's just me personally, me stepping into the shoes. I would, yeah, they also had Goldberg. Thank you for that.
I just don't know which way you are going. You're confusing me.
Yeah, I really don't. I would have gone to WCW in a heartbeat, because for one, my boss is trying to offer me this stupid contract that he doesn't even know if he can pay. The other business is winning the ratings. He's offered me this amount of money for a short amount of time. Hey, cool, I'll go over here for a couple years. My buddies are already over there, and they're calling me to come over. You damn right I'm going over there. They're offering me a better contract, better money, and they're guaranteeing it. My buddies are over there, and it's, this is the schedule. Cool. I'm going to go over to the winning side. Now, obviously, it didn't turn out to be the winning side, but at the moment in time, you just don't know. And I would have gone over there. Here's another one. Brett was overrated. Owen was better, and Brett stayed relevant because of Screwjob and Monday Night Wars. Man, everybody's hating on Bret Hart today, man. I feel like I'm the only one on Brett's side.
No, I'm on Brett's side. I understand both of them, but let me say this, Jason. And please don't think that I'm just trying to attack you or just going at you like that. I actually love your point of view on things, but from Owen being better than Brett, that may have been true. I'm not gonna try to argue that point. But who was more popular? Who name carried more value? And at the time, what was Owen's greatest match? It was against his brother. You name me another great Owen Hart match besides the one where he almost killed Austin. And I'll wait.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, look, I loved Owen. I think Owen was a tremendous wrestler. I have nothing against him. But you give me Brett and Owen, I'm taking Brett every time, man. Brett told beautiful stories in the ring. Now, was he so caught up in it that it screwed him over? Yes.
Well,
But
not just that. Owen, Owen was Owen was forced to stay in WWE. I say forced, but he was forced to stay in WWE when everybody leaves. Yeah, he was forced to stay there, and everybody left too. Owen versus British Bulldog. There you go, Bear.
okay, which one's better? Owen versus Bulldog or Brett versus Bulldog? I'll wait.
So while Jason's responding to that, and so like I said, everybody was leaving. All of his brothers left to WCW. Owen Hart wanted to go to WCW, but Bischoff was not willing to actually pay Owen as much as WWE was willing to pay him. Bischoff was like, "Screw you," and basically Owen was like, "Damn."
No, I have to disagree with you. It wasn't
brother.
Bischoff would have paid. It was that contract. Vince would not let him out of that contract. Vince, for everything we talk about Vince and stuff, Vince was smart enough to see.
Well, yes, but we're both right, because it is true though. Bischoff was not going to pay him near as much, and Owen finally realized himself that he would not get used correctly in WCW. But again, like I said, staying in WWF, he then had to go Nation of Domination, and then the Blue Blazer. And you know what happened? Owen versus Bulldog. Anybody could wrestle him. Man, everybody just hates Brett. I think that's what it is. I think here's the thing. Brett is a great wrestler. Can we all agree on that?
I hate your guts.
Everybody who's watched this and said Brett, sucks or whatever. Can we all agree Brett is a good wrestler? Forget his charisma.
Brother.
Are you shitting me?
No, he's not. No, I agree with that. He's not a good wrestler. Brett was a damn great wrestler. That's that.
He has no personality, sure, and no charisma, sure. But here's the thing. He was a damn good wrestler, and it's like, look at Chris Benoit. He's a damn good wrestler, but you know what I'm saying?
Well, I was going to bring up Lance Storm. No personality, but can wrestle circles around you. Okay, Jason, I'm next week. I need you to call in. I want to see you and talk to you, my friend. And no heat. I just love what you're doing, and I want people to see who you are. And you got to join us, man. The Bear is offering you an invitation next week.
Yes, please call in. And real quick, too, I just want to give a shout out to Jason. Jason's a great guy. And if you're actually down in the North Texas area anywhere, you should actually go join Advanced Fitness Center. I've actually recently joined Bear, and I'm already feeling great. I've been going to the gym either way, so I'm going to feel great either way because I've already been going to the gym. But I'm just saying, I feel even better because I've been going to Advanced Fitness. Actually, I feel more advanced going to Advanced Fitness Center. There you go. So yeah, y'all should join Advanced Fitness Center. Jason and Chance up there are great guys and take care of that place. So go ahead and join them. Great place. But yeah, call in to Bear. That'd be a great one.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Now, and this is on the same topic. How do you feel about the Undertaker making Vince go have a conversation with Brett that night.
That's why I like The Undertaker. Real quick, I'm going to go into that. March 8th is the best time to go. It is. You know why? March 8th, which is, hey, look at that. 2 weeks from today, right? Yeah, 2 weeks from today, Iron Paradise. Ooh, baby. APW presents Iron Paradise. You never know who's going to show up. That's all I'm saying. But so let's see. I agree. Brett was older and had a lot more years to make himself just as big a star as his young brother. Well, so Undertaker, though, here's the thing, and I think this is why him and Vince get along so well. Undertaker is a mix of not only an amazing businessman, but he has a great personality for, other humans. If that, like, he doesn't like, I could tell, I don't think he's somebody who likes drama. He wants everybody to kind of get along. He wants everybody to say, hey, let's work this out. No bullshit. Let's work this out. Let's get stuff going. He's always been like that in the locker room. That's why he was the locker room leader, for all those years. And I think that was a good idea. I mean, because it's like, let's be honest, Vince was not going to talk to Brett. And I think that's also, I'll be honest, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's complete and utter bullshit. You're telling me that if I just got screwed and now my boss is just going to ignore me like a fucking ex, like we just broke up and I'm an ex, get the hell out of here. I understand, like you said, he's a businessman. Then be a businessman. Be a man and be a businessman. Go say, hey, look, I'm sorry for that, but shit had to grow some nuts and go talk to him. Undertaker had to tell him, go talk to him. And that's when Brett literally didn't say anything. He said, Vince, I'm going to go take a shower. If you're standing out here when I get out, I'm going to knock you out. And guess what? Vince was standing there when he came out. And guess what? He knocked him on his ass. It sprained his ankle. He hit him so hard. It gave him, didn't it give him a concussion?
Oh,
too?
yeah. That black eye was, woo.
That needed to be done for Vince to see comes on credit. Boy, the Taker will always be the best for any rock. Exactly. Yeah. Taker. Yes, that's why he was always, that's why there's so many stories about Taker being the locker room leader. Taker he was that guy. And like I said, if Taker wasn't there, let's be honest, if Taker wasn't there ever, dude, holy shit. Vince would have really struggled, man. I mean, it's just, it's ridiculous because Taker really kept control. He did that on multiple times. Like when he told, hey, you need to go talk to Brett. That wasn't just that time. He's done it many, 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 many times, and they even have it, wrestler's court. I know we've all heard of wrestler's court. It's a lot of it's about Taker. And so, but no, to answer your question, that was a good move by Taker. It needed to be done. You're the boss, dude. You just screwed him. You didn't know you were going to screw him. You at least you owe him as a back locker room, talk. I mean, so there you go. Owen versus 1-2-3 Kid or X-Pac, whatever you want to call him. But I've never called him 1-2-3 Kid. I've always just called him X-Pac.
Or Sticks.
Yeah, that's true. There you go, Bear. See, look at that. These are all matches you're gonna have to go rewatch now.
No, hey, look, I'm an old man. I got that old man memory, so I remember a lot of it. But the thing is with Taker, and I like you were saying, it was, imagine how different things would have went if Vince didn't talk to him. And Vince wouldn't have got that black eye to go on Monday night to just to give the tell behind the scenes on the wrestling show. That's another thing that helped usher in the Attitude Era, because most people had no freaking idea. Because back then, it's not like the internet was super big and that. So it was, no one would have known except for the rumors and stuff. Yep. So that's why I think the Montreal Screwjob has so much impact into the business. And let me go back to Shawn Michaels, because you can feel however you feel about Shawn Michaels, but you have to protect yourself. One thing people don't think about: these wrestlers are a business unto themselves. I love that match too. I hated the ending, but that was a great match. Wrestlers have to be, well, Sean, the best one to do the job.
Hold on. Oh, it depends on your point of view. And I say that by point of view of, I'm going to sound, no, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, he was the best. I'm not even going to go there. He was the best. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Bear.
I mean, at the time, the heat he already had, who else would have been a better person to do that? Plus, it was, the biggest thing is not like they just came up with it all willy-nilly. It was their pay-per-view.
Hunter?
No, because Hunter wasn't that big.
Yeah,
Hunter was just the sidekick.
Make him big. Make him big. That's the point.
Nobody would have cared about Hunter. Let's be real. Hunter was the sidekick.
Well, okay. You got to make
I was going to say something else, but I'm trying to cut my cussing down.
There you go. I should probably start doing that too. Sorry,
but here's the thing. That's why we enjoy talking about different things, because now we have a clear view and we can go back and think, what if one little thing if one thing would have been different, it would have changed wrestling business in a different light. Exactly. It wasn't going to hurt Sean at all.
Yeah, hey, at least that's one thing we can all agree about. Sean was a prick.
Yes. And the thing is, too, on top of him being a prick, he was selfish and he had the boss's ear. I mean, when you got the boss's ear, why are you not gonna, hey, let me get some out of this? Most people do. And if you say you don't, you're lying.
It's just,
you know damn well, if you can talk to the boss and say, hey, you know, I think you can make some more money with me being on that top. Give me the title, because I'll do whatever you tell me, boss.
But and that's the thing is, I guess I'm not gonna say I don't hate Shawn Michaels. I think he's one of the greatest. I do. But here's the thing: when I look at it as a wrestling fan, I respect the business of wrestling and I respect the wrestlers too. And that's the thing is, Shawn was an asshole. An actual asshole as a person, and it's like that's what gets me is I can't. It's just hard I like Shawn Michaels, but he's tainted in my mind because he was such an asshole, man. And again, that's why I'm everybody like I love Taker because he's just a genuine good guy. You know what I'm saying? And I just. Yes, some people maybe not be as good as wrestlers or others, but it takes. You
ain't read that comment. Yeah.
Early 90s Shawn or Hogan. Oh gosh, that's
easy. That's very easy.
Here's the thing.
It's Hogan.
Shawn was the biggest replacement after Hogan until Austin. Yeah, that's true. Shawn was a replacement, but again, Shawn was just. He was an asshole, man, and I don't. Yes, I respect him, but damn, man, you're an asshole, man. Fuck you, man. You know, I'm not looking to be. That's just the way I look at it, man. If you're an asshole in the back, dude.
Let me say this.
Okay.
And I don't really want to bring up religion, but I have to make my point about this.
Okay.
When we are younger, we do different things. We think differently. And sometimes we have to go through a down to get up. And maybe just because, look, Shawn was out of the business for 4 years. Maybe that was his wake-up call because he found religion. He stopped being an asshole. And sometimes you have to go through a down to get back up. Just like Punk. Now, Punk, whether you like him, don't like him, he's back in the WWE, and you hear everybody talk about how he loves to put over the younger talent. He's a different person now because of everything he's went through. Some people get it and are blessed to learn, then some are not. It's just what it is.
Let me rephrase that, Bear. I'm sorry, I keep laughing at this damn comment.
I know. We're gonna have the discussion after we get off here because I think
here's the thing. Let me rephrase that. I like Shawn Michaels now. I like Shawn Michaels for the last couple years because he's not an asshole anymore. I'm not going to sit here and say I've never been an asshole. I've been a huge asshole. And when I think about myself as an asshole, I'm like, fuck that guy. I hated that guy. I just don't like, if you're an asshole, man, you know what I'm saying? It's just life is too short. Oh, here we go. I'm about to get my spiritual rant. I'm not even going to start. All I'm going to say is I hated myself when I was an asshole. I don't like Shawn Michaels when he's an asshole. That's why nobody likes Hogan right now. He's an asshole. He's a dick. That's just the way it is. That's why everybody's like Taker. Taker's never been an asshole in the business, that's just the way it is. And it's like Cena. Cena's an ass wrestler, okay? Cena sucks at wrestling, okay? 5 moves of doom. But guess what? I do not hate the guy at all because he is a genuine nice guy. He was never an asshole. He's a great dude. I hate him in the ring. I really do.
Depends on who you ask.
That's true. And that's the subject with everybody, I guess. But
exactly.
I guess in this time frame, what we're talking about, the Montreal Screwjob. Yeah, unless you're in his kitchen, then he's gonna be an asshole. But if we're talking about right here, the Montreal Screwjob, and Shawn was an asshole during this time. Brett got screwed. Okay, Vince screwed Brett. They gave it to Shawn. Shawn was a dick. If you're that good and you battled that many demons that you did, you probably didn't have to be known as that. So you had to protect yourself on that mountaintop, and Shawn didn't want to let go of it. And yeah, then Shawn lost his smile.
A few different times.
And like I said, that's the thing is when it comes to this, what we're talking about, to kind of go back on topic, the Montreal Screwjob, was Shawn the right person? They didn't have anybody else at the time. So yes, they didn't have a choice. They genuinely did not have a choice. Austin wasn't Austin yet. Not yet. So they did not have a choice. Austin was the next big guy, but they had nobody else to give the belt to and say, here you go. Go be that asshole. Well, you're already an asshole in the back. Go be an asshole to the fans, basically. And that's the way it is. My final opinions on this truly sit as it stands. Vince screwed Brett. Brett was screwed out of that. WWE should have handled it a better way. I would have had enough trust, no matter what Medusa did or Alundra Blaze, whatever you want to call it. I still would have had enough trust in Brett to drop that title the next night at least, especially when his whole damn family still worked for me. His whole family works for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
We got a caller.
We got a caller on the line. I was about to get into my rant. I'll calm down for a second. I'll calm down.
Yeah, what it do, Professor Bear? How you doing, man? It's the one and only shit, Blackheart Lansky, head honcho of OTT on the Off the Top Rose Network and co-owner of Supernova Wrestling. We in this bitch. What's up with y'all?
Man,
what's up, man? I wish I had as much energy as you, man. I'm about to have to go take pre-workout now.
Man, I had a long ass day, man. I had a long fucking day, man. Trust me, you and I want to know what the hell went with me behind the fucking scenes, but I'm here to call in and be on the B&B show. You know what I'm saying? I come support my man, Professor Bear, over here. You know what I'm saying? And the whole WSN network. You already know what time it is. Shout out to the whole WSN network, too. Shout out to you, Brady.
Okay.
So what do you think about this whole Brett and this screw job of Montreal?
Okay, so we're digging back to the chest when I was 7 years old. Compared to what how I look at it now, it's like business, wrestling business, and economics all created this beautiful twisted storm. You know what I mean? First of all, Vince McMahon should never gave Brett that 20-year contract, not knowing what the future would lead and knowing how wrestling changes courses every like 5 to 10 years. So he's looking at that dynamic like, okay, I don't want to lose this guy, but then again, I don't want to see my opposition using him better than what the fuck I'm doing. So he kept him for what 20 years and $20 million. I was like, okay, shit. But looking back at his book and his investment, probably looked at it the wrong way compared to like how like we have like the whole mindset from where we was thinking back in the pretenses compared to where you are right then and there in real life time. You're thinking, damn, why did I do that? Right. I think that's what Vince was thinking about putting all that money down on Brett. You're mortgaging on someone that's probably not going to be there for 2 to 3 years. And on top of that, with the whole Shawn Michaels aspect in the back, and you know how back in the day Shawn was a prick. You know what I'm saying? And he rubbed some people the wrong way. So you're gonna create enemies. If we want to look at this, Bret Hart is Kendrick Lamar, and Shawn Michaels was Drake. In this case. Swear to God, because both of them hated one another, right? Don't like them. And then the parent company, UMG, is Vince McMahon and WWE.
Oh my
so who do you think Vince McMahon and WWE is gonna go with? He's gonna go with the guy that is the right then and now. Fucked it yesterday, and Brett felt some type of way. So I think, in real retrospect, I know what he was saying about the whole dropping the belt to Shawn. He wouldn't do that in Montreal and shit like that. But bro, everyone loses. Everyone takes an L. And that's the one part I just think he didn't want to face fast. He didn't want to take that L. The same way how Drake didn't want to take that fucking L. Okay? And that's why he got the way that that's why he got treated the way that he did. Bar none. So I can't say Vince was wrong. I just thought Vince should have just done shit in a different fucking way. And gave Brett what the hell he wanted, caused the DQ, have him come on the next night, drop the belt, and leave. That's it. Nah. Because Drake is after people's BMs, their girlfriends, and all that other type of shit. What was Shawn doing back then? Okay, and he was a single guy, and K-Dot was married, and Brett was married. You cannot tell me those two things do not parallel against one another, bro. You cannot tell me that.
I would have never thought about it, but it makes so much sense.
Bang! You know what I'm saying? Shout out to K-Dot, man. They not like us. Period.
Nobody like Shawn.
Dude, I'm serious, man. You're gonna make me go get on Trent or something.
Do it. Do it.
Trend, dude. Like, you want to make me flip a table, man? Holy shit! What did you real quick? What did you say? The OTTR is the on the top rope.
The Off the Top Ropes Network. We are the Paw Mob. We are the infamous Paw Mob. Catch us up here in New England, Massachusetts, Maine. We everywhere, son. We everywhere.
Yes, sir. Man, thank you for jumping in and letting us know. Now I'm going to start calling Shawn Kendrick. That's his new name from now on.
Man, don't do that, bro. You can't call Shawn Kendrick. You can't gotta call Shawn Drake. You gotta call Shawn Drake. You gotta call Shawn Drake, and Brett is K-Dot.
No, because Brett left. And Shawn was the man, and he was supported by the machine. So,
all right. So, if we have to put like a little parallel spin on this thing, it was it's more of the Bizarro world.
Okay.
When you compare that,
I got
If
you.
you look at the Bizarro world, that's exactly what the WWE back then was about, with the whole K-Dot and Drake and UNG situation and shit. If you want to put two and two together, you know what I'm saying?
Got
But Professor Bear, I love you, man. Just want to drop by, show you some love, you know what I'm saying? Blade, what up, Pip? Come, come up here on shit once in a while, you know what I'm saying? We wide open.
We
I got
definitely
you,
will.
man. I got you, man. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you
Gang,
for calling
man,
in,
we
man.
out
We'll
here.
talk soon. All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, Biddy, for the great show. We appreciate
Biddy,
you calling.
thanks, bro.
Everybody calling in. And this was a great episode. Again, I know it's a very over talked about topic, but I had to cover it at least once or twice. I said twice, so you never know. Maybe we'll talk about it again. But
Blade,
again, what's
what
up?
we doing next week?
I'll tell you what we're doing next week. Next week, we are going to be watching the Elimination Chamber live. It's going to be a special B&B show watch along. So guess what? Next week, March 1st, join us only on the Wrestling Society website. That's WrestlingSocietyNetwork.com. We will only be on there for it. Yeah, exactly. Tell Brett to watch for the kick. Even though I hate Goldberg way worse than anybody else. I think Goldberg's at the bottom of the list. I'm just gonna put that out there. I hate Goldberg. But we will be watching the Elimination Chamber live next week, March 1st. And I believe it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. So let's see. Yeah, we'll be hopping on about 30 minutes before the show. So about, during the pre-show, join us. And guess what? We will be taking call-ins. And
Yes.
call in, watch with us. It is only going to be on the WrestlingSocietyNetwork.com. So the WrestlingSocietyNetwork.com. It's going to be a great time. We're going to watch the Chamber. You never know. Maybe somebody's going to go heel Cody Rhodes. But anyway, Bear, I really appreciate you for joining me tonight. It's been a great show as always. I'm going to go take some trend now because that guy hopped on. I need to go flip a table or something. But we appreciate everybody who commented. We appreciate everybody who called in. Please, join us on Facebook, YouTube, get our app, go to our website, all that stuff. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. March 8th, APW. I know everybody hears it. APW, Advanced Pro Wrestling, March 8th. Iron Paradise. We will be there at Advanced Fitness Center. It's going to be a great night, great matches. We will be there. Sign up, WrestlingSociety.com. And guess what? We have another show later this month. Later March. Stay tuned. More details for that coming soon. Going to be a huge thing. Stay tuned. And, of course, B&B show every Saturday. Like I said, next Saturday, it is going to be a watch-along of the Elimination Chamber. It's going to be a great time. But, again, Bear, I really appreciate you joining me on this one. I cannot wait till next week. Make sure y'all tune in this whole week for every show. We got a show basically every day. So just tune in. And, man, Bear, like I said, man, thank you for this. Anything else before we let these fine gentlemen go?
Just like everything, I got my little show, Bear's Thought on Wednesday. But as always, thank y'all for joining us. Thank you for the support. And without you all, there is no us. So thank you very, very much.
Yep. Like he said, thank y'all so much. And we will see y'all next time.